When I came out of the closet publicly in 2009, I really thought I was saying goodbye to anything in film and television. I really was like, I guess that'll be the end of that. And I'm okay with that because I'd rather be who I am than hide who I am to be in movies.
Prepare your ears, humans. Happy, sad, confused begins now.
Hey guys, I'm Josh, and welcome to another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. I have a special treat for you guys today. If you love theater, if you love Mindhunter, if you love Frozen, this is the guy for you. Mr. Jonathan Groff is my guest today. A charming, delightful man talking about his latest triumph on Broadway, playing Bobby Darin in Just in Time. He is Tony nominated. He is amazing in it. This conversation is a blast. That's coming at you today on Happy, Sad, Confused. Before we get to that, a couple announcements, updates, things that I've been doing that I wanted to mention. Speaking of theater, this is just like a fun thing to mention. A lot of people are attracted to the big Broadway shows, and I see a lot of them, including Just in Time with Jonathan Groff. I recently got a chance to see this really cool set of two different one-act plays that is at the Minetta Lane Theater. This is downtown in New York. This is a small theater by New York standards, and it's a really cool collaboration that Hugh Jackman is doing with Audible and this theater, bringing these kind of smaller scale productions to the masses with big stars, great playwrights, and at somewhat more, I think, affordable prices. They're tough tickets to get, but if you can get them, I've seen both of these plays. Right now, Hugh Jackman is on stage with Ella Beatty. Yeah, Ella Beatty. She's Annette Bening and Warren Beatty's daughter, actually, and she's amazing in this. Never seen her act before. This is a two-hander, and it's called Sexual Misconduct of the Middle Classes. It's really compelling stuff. Also got a chance to see Justice Smith and Liev Schreiber in a play called The Creditors, and Maggie Siff, I think, is the third actor in that one. Anyway, these are both excellent productions. Just wanted to mention it. If you're looking for something off the beaten path that's not Broadway, but is still amazing theater, these are great productions, and I love what Hugh Jackman is doing, kind of giving back a little bit to the theater community. He does obviously such big scale movies, and even he's playing Radio City, which is an amazing show. His kind of like song and dance routine, but to see him go back to a lot of kind of basics with this is really cool. Anyway, wanted to mention that if you're looking for something cool to try to see in New York. Speaking of cool stuff in New York, we're just a few days away now, about a week or so away from our June 1st live event with Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and director Danny Boyle talking about 28 years later. So excited for this one. This movie I'm seeing very soon. I'm hearing good things. It looks amazing. We're going to show some sneak peeks and have a great conversation. The link for tickets is in the show notes. June 1st, I believe it's 7 p.m. at 92nd Street Y. And then I've been mentioning it. I'm going to keep mentioning it until the day comes. June 3rd, Los Angeles. Come on out, guys. There are some tickets still available for this, but I want to get as near a sellout as possible. I want to pack that house because Gary Oldman is hitting the stage with me, and it doesn't get any better than that. Truly one of the great actors of our time, of the last 30 years or so that he's been doing it on the big screen and on the small screen now in Slow Horses. That's going to be a blast. June 3rd. Come on out. It's going to be a special night. Okay, let's get back to Jonathan Groff. Main event today, a little bit of context. Again, he's playing Bobby Darin, this famous crooner of the 60s and 70s. The role is perfect for him in many respects because he can sing and dance and be charismatic, and Jonathan Groff is all of those things. He won the Tony last year for Merrily We Roll Along, and he very well could win the Tony again, which is kind of unprecedented to win it back to back. This conversation is very much about his theater work, Spring Awakening, but also we talk, of course, a little Fincher, Mindhunter, and all his other, fantastic aspects of his career. He is one of the gems of a human being you will ever hear or see from. And the last bit of context I want to say for this one, and we talked about it during the course of the conversation, is when I went to see Just in Time on Broadway, he pulled me up out of the audience and made me dance. Made me. I would never voluntarily do this. I do not dance, folks. So we dissect that crazy moment in my life, and this could happen to you if you see the show. He does pull up folks, a couple different times during the show. It just so happened it was my time to do it, and I'm here to tell the tale, as is Jonathan in this conversation. I hope you guys dig this. Some really cool stuff coming up on Happy Sad Confused, including a very special Mission Impossible conversation next week. Stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, enjoy this one with Jonathan Groff. No official introduction, but finally, officially solo on the podcast, Jonathan Groff. We've had you in groupings, but I wanted you all to myself finally. It's good to see you. How are you?
Good. It feels good to be one-on-one with you, Josh. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. We're talking your latest triumph just in time on Broadway. Bobby Darin killing it, singing, dancing, pulling up innocent bystanders on stage sometimes. We will get to that in a moment. Uh, um, but first of all, a warning to those watching and listening: drinking game. Every time Jonathan Groff cries, do a shot. So be prepared.
Oh my God. I'm feeling so joyful these days. I don't know if I'm gonna get,
Good.
I don't know if anyone's gonna be taking a shot.
Good. One thing I do remember, look, you were on the podcast as part of the amazing trio for Merrily on the stage at 92nd Street Y. It was one of my favorite live events I've ever done there, and emotions were very palpable that day. Was that
No.
unusual for you? I feel like you have very good access to your emotions, but that day in particular felt like, given the experience, the run, it all kind of bubbled up.
Yes, I am a crier. Like I do cry kind of easily. And there was something about I really remember that event at the Y. It was so cool. And there was something about the reflective nature of that show and sharing that experience with Dan and Lindsay that was really extremely emotional. It was a combination of building a relationship between the three of us that ended up becoming really tight and deep. And then also like every night the introspection that would happen from doing that show was really epic.
Was leaving that show behind like tough? I mean, are you good at leaving a job behind? Because you guys were so tight. I mean, I
Yes.
can't imagine. Is there a period of mourning? Like, are you guys still in touch? Like, give me a sense of how you kind of recover from that kind of experience.
I really thought and Dan and Lindsay thought too that I was gonna be on the floor when we left that show. I loved doing it so much. I loved and love them so much. And I really thought, okay, when I have to be careful because I think I'm gonna really fall into a big postpartum like depression in leaving the show and didn't at all. This was the big shock. I left,
Emotional maturity. Look at you. You're
and
40 now. You got it all in check.
and maybe it was because we cried so much during the
That's true.
show. It's like we got it all out, we excavated all of it. But Dan and Lindsay felt the same way. We left and we were like, oh my God. It felt like the exact right time, the like perfect timing for it to be over. Such a full experience, such a happy experience. We left before the honeymoon was over.
Yeah.
And then and then I was out of the show for 2 weeks and then we went right into the I went right into the workshop for which we did for like about a month, I think, or 5 weeks or something, or 6 weeks. I don't know. We did a big workshop for Just in Time in July
Yeah.
and August immediately following that. So then I was right back into this one.
So this is another intense one. And for those that don't know, the history behind this actually connects to 92nd Street Y, which is really cool. And like this is long in the making. I would imagine. I mean, look, you've workshop shows before, you've been from the inception, but this one in particular, you've been on for what, like 7, 8 years in different
Yes.
incubative processes.
Yes.
And it's so your show, front and center, obviously. You break the fourth wall. Like, just give me a sense, like, do you feel, I mean, you feel obviously a passion for all the work, but like, does this one, I don't know, have a more personal connection given what you've poured into it?
Completely. I've never been a part of something from the very beginning of the idea before. And it was 8 years ago that Ted Chapin asked me to do this concert at the 92nd Street Y. What's crazy, Josh, is I remember being in the car on the way to our interview that we did with you. I was in the car with Jenny T, who's my dear friend, and I work with her as a publicist. And I said, Jenny T, this is so crazy. I just found out today that they want to do. They're looking to do the Bobby Darin musical next year on Broadway, like in the next season. And Jenny T was like, "What?" And I said, I know it's kind of crazy and it's really fast, but we're literally en route right now to the 92nd Street Y to do this interview with Josh. This is feeling like a shared sign from the universe that we've got fate on our side and it's meant to be. But yeah, this like, and I hadn't been on that stage since 7 years, 7.5 years ago when we did the concert there in January of 2018. Um, and so until we did our interview, so it's very Josh Horowitz. You know, there's like you're in the soup of this somehow in a way. But yeah, I've
Yeah.
like it was 7.5 years ago we did the workshop. I mean, I remember writing Alex Timbers, our director, who directed the concert at the Y too. I wrote him an email the day after we finished, and I said, I am like a drug addict. And that was the most exciting thing ever. And we have got to make this show happen. What do we need to do? And I flew out to Australia because there was like a musical called Dream Lover about Bobby Darin that was happening there. And they were looking to move that to Broadway. But we had this really specific conceit that we had talked about of me starting the show as me and setting the musical of his life in the context of a nightclub and telling it as kind of like a nightclub act because
Mhm.
that was Bobby Darin at the height of his powers. And so it's been, I mean, I've in like the fall of 2018, I flew to Malibu on our week layoff from Mindhunter to go meet Dodd Darin, the son of Bobby Darin, and like beg him to bless our show and give us the rights. And then Tom Curdy, our producer, ended up getting the rights in like February of 2020. And I was like taking drum lessons while I was working on the Matrix. It's been like
The constant throughout. Yeah.
long gestating. So to finally be doing it on Broadway is like is quite literally a dream come true. A dream from like the back of my brain to then be doing it on Broadway. I've never experienced anything like that. It's so cool.
We should say the show is nominated for 6 Tonys. You're nominated,
Yes.
of course, coming off of your Tony win last year. This is like Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump, Philadelphia territory, back to back. We're doing it all over again, running it back. Um, it's an amazing performance. You own the stage as you always do, and it so suits you, plays to your strengths. It's really a treat to see someone. I mean, I saw your like Nicole Scherzinger interview. It's like in a similar way. That is like an amazing. I mean, as you know, that performance unbelievable. In a similar way, you own this one, and I don't know. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like to like inhabit Bobby, who, for those that don't know, I mean, everyone probably knows Bobby Darin to a degree. Dream Lover, Mac the Knife, some songs. Maybe they know that his life ended far too prematurely. I don't know. Talk to me about like what the joy of inhabiting him night after night. This is a joyful show, despite the fact that his life ended prematurely.
Oh, it's like I feel like I'm gonna cry. You just asking me that, so I'm now realizing that maybe me crying is actually it's you asking questions that makes you.
I'm the trigger.
I don't know
I'm the
what
problem.
you are. Like that's such a like normal question to ask. Why is that making me emotional?
Timbre of my voice. I'm sorry.
I think it's you. Um, what is it like? It's like I think it's making me emotional too because it's like the gift of a lifetime. He was this supernova talent, dead at 37, died young, was told he was gonna when he was 8, overheard that he was gonna be dead by the time he was 16. So he was living always on borrowed time. And when I began researching him 8 years ago, and I started looking clips of him, looking at clips of him on YouTube, I was immediately sucked in by his completely unique, kind of ferocious, primal way of performing. He's not just singing songs. He's not just like coming out there and like giving you the hits and walking away. He is like singing for his life every time he performs. Partially because his health was always something he was negotiating, and I think also partially because he just lived to perform. And
Yeah.
we have a lot of dissonance in our, he's from the Bronx. I'm from Amish country, Pennsylvania. We address this in the show. There's a lot of things about us that are quite different, but this very essential thing of this like need to perform and this um like kind of like extremely passionate, almost spiritual relationship between performer and audience member, I really identify with him in. And so to be able to like spend these last few years dissecting his performances and understanding his physicality and trying to understand his musicality. And I learned how to play the piano for this, and I learned how to play the drums for this, and I took 10 weeks of dance lessons before our first day of rehearsal to try to really embody how he moved and what he did. And he was like, I'm obsessed with watching, have always been obsessed with watching clips of like Barbara Streisand and Liza Minnelli and Judy Garland. And in a more modern way, Beyonce. I like there's a lot of these like female diva performers that have this quality that I'm obsessed with as a homosexual. It's part of the requirements of being one. And Bobby Darin, Bobby Darin, like is one of the few male performers that gives me that same hit and that same rush. And so to like embody his musicality and his movements is like it feels fucking incredible. It's like the show starts and I'm out there for 2 hours and 30 minutes. So Haley, who the woman who's dressing me, just told me last week that the longest I'm off stage is 45 seconds. And
Insane.
the show feels like it's 5 minutes long to me. I
Yeah.
love doing it so much.
We talk about how he died tragically at 37, kind of sickly to a degree his entire life. I mean, you've accomplished so much. You just turned 40, you have the Tony, you have all these awards, you have the accolades, you had a lot of success early on stage. Like, do you feel the ticking clock? Do you like judge yourself against time, your age? Are you that kind of person?
Funny, I don't think about that. I'm not, and it's obviously different, generally, I should say, for men than it is for women, and the expectations and aging and all of that. But I, I like for better or for worse, because it goes both ways. Like I'm so right. I mean, in the here and now, and the speed with which this project has come on the back of Merrily, this like because we did a workshop of this in March of last year while I was doing Merrily We Roll Along, and I was like waking up and vomiting in the morning before the workshop. I got like it was my body was so tired from doing the 8 shows a week, and then we were doing this workshop, and I was really like, oh God, I couldn't because this show has been so many years in the making. I'm doing this, but I would not be able to push myself, I don't think, for anything else other than this. There's something about I guess I do feel the ticking clock and the kind of ferocity as channeled by him. Like getting the chance to play him and getting the chance to develop the show. It's given me this like on-ramp to that kind of like front-footed aggression, which is not necessarily where I live as a person normally.
Right.
In the last like certainly in the last year and in the years in developing this that time is running out energy it has been cultivated in me just simply by working on the show and by playing him every night.
So, as I said, I got a chance to see the show the other night, just in time on Broadway. It's amazing. You're amazing. You're singing and dancing throughout. And I just want to talk about this openly and confront you about this because this is a moment, just another night for you, but a traumatic moment in the best possible way for me forever, Jonathan. Opening moments, you're singing and dancing through the aisles. I
Yes.
presume you usually look for a person to kind of gift with a moment of a lifetime and dance with them. You lock eyes with me. Give me your perspective. What did you know I was there? Did you just happen to see me?
Oh, I rarely know who is there. And so there's like you mentioned, the opening, Bobby Darin was famous for interacting with audience members live in the moment. So many stories of people saying, Bobby Darin, my mom was there when she was 11 and he danced with my mom. My mom was in a blue dress and he kneeled down to her and said, I like this was his special magic, was in the moment interaction with the audience. You can hear it on a lot of his live records. And so we wanted to bake this into the conceit of the show and into the moments of the show. And so there are set moments where I go into the audience and dance with people. And there's even, if you can believe it, Josh, set seats that I interact with people.
Did I just happen to be in the lucky seat?
You happened to be in the dance seat, Josh. And I did not know that you were at the show. And I was walking through the audience as I do every night and making eye contact. And then I could not believe that you were sitting there. And I'll tell you, my experience
Yeah.
was like, I was like, oh my God, it's fucking Josh in the dance seat. What the fuck? And I held out my hand to you, and you looked like you wanted to die. That was your first, you were like, oh my God, this was what was so amazing, at least from my perspective about what had happened. You looked at me like, I cannot fucking believe this, you're asking me to do this. And
Yeah.
I rather like a hole open up below my seat and fall into the depths of hell than stand and dance right now. But then about point, like 0.5 seconds later, you took a breath and you took my hand and
Put down my drink, put down my alcohol.
you took
Thank God I had a drink.
yes, and you spun around with such grace and confidence and charm and effortlessness, and there was absolutely nothing awkward about. You were like, "Oh no, all right, here we go," and you rose. I would say you rose to the challenge so elegantly.
That means the world to me.
So much so that I was like, I think maybe he liked that. When you sat back down, I was like, I think maybe Josh enjoyed that.
I did feel here. My perspective is
Yeah.
you had it totally down. First of all, yes, I wanted to die. I in fact said to you in the moment as you beckoned me to come up, I said I hate you,
Yes.
and I apologize for that. And then
Okay.
I tried to rise to the occasion. I got through it. I thought I had a stroke and a heart attack at the same time. My wife saw me like dying in my seat, but it was a beautiful moment. I will never forget. It was amazing. And the second added bonus was, I will say, and I know this is self-indulgent to talk about this, but hopefully it gives folks a sense of what the show's like. Was Holt was in the crowd. Holt McElhaney, your
Yes, yes.
co-star from Mindhunter, who I went over to say hi to in the intermission, and he was very kind. He said to me, he's like, "You did great. Do you have a dance background?" I'm like, Holt, Holt, come on.
That is so fucking funny.
It was amazing.
When
So
he came backstage and he was like, Josh wanted me to tell you that he loved the show and that he had to go home, but like he would have come back and he's not coming back because he didn't enjoy the show, but that I'll talk to you later. And that he really did enjoy the dance. So the guy was like,
well, I wasn't planning on coming backstage. I didn't know. I never know when to do that or not. So I should have in retrospect, but thank you for that moment that I will never forget.
oh my God, thank you for being such a champ and such a sport. And you're always welcome backstage whenever
Thank you.
you want to come back, whether
Thank you.
you're at the show or not.
Okay, fair enough. So, speaking of Holt, I mean, that must be a treat. You get all these fun visitors.
Oh
So
my
Holt's come
God.
by. Has Fincher come
Yes.
by yet? I'd love to see David Fincher at a Bobby Darin musical.
He hasn't been there yet, but I imagine that he will be. He came to see Merrily We Roll Along,
Love it.
and he came. So Holt, we did that concert at the 92nd Street Y 7.5 years ago between shooting season one and season two of
So he
Mindhunter.
knows. Yeah.
So Holt came to the 92nd Street Y with Fincher and Sion. They all so if you can
Right.
the idea of Fincher at the Bobby Darin musical on Broadway, if that's surreal to you, then take it a step further and imagine Fincher and Sion at the 92nd Street Y seeing like the Bobby Darin songbook sung. I mean that he really is he's such a sweet supporter. So I
I love
imagine
him.
that,
Yeah.
next time he's here, hopefully he'll come by.
I'm obsessed with him. He's the ultimate bucket list podcast guest. I've interviewed him over the years, but he's reticent to do the full podcast experience. One of these days, though, I'll wear him down. Um,
Yeah.
should I give up? In your mind, have you given up hope? It seems like Mindhunter, beautiful 2 seasons, but we're never going to get more. Is that in your mind, or do you keep an open mind?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I haven't heard
Okay.
anything. I haven't
Have
heard
you guys
anything.
have you guys ever come close? Like, was there ever a talk? Like, did you feel like there was a momentum for a season three or a wrap up movie or something that you felt like, oh, there's a tangible, actual potential plan?
No. No one
Okay.
ever spoke to me about it. Yeah. There's
Okay.
like there was there like I even have that Mindhunter joke at the top of the show that we say,
Yes.
which was always like Holt's now been like 4 times to the show, which is it's weird.
Oh.
And
I
I
was
got
wondering if that was specifically for Holt. No, that's in the show every night.
that's in the show every night, yeah. And he just happened to be sitting at a table that night, so I got to point to him in reference.
I
But
love
yeah, I haven't heard anything
it. Okay.
about a Mindhunter season 3.
Did the discipline of theater help you in that experience? I mean, the stories of Fincher obviously are well known, the takes and the meticulous nature of it. Did the repetition of theater, the training, did that serve you well?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny, our amazing choreographer Shannon Lewis of Just in Time, her husband is Mark Kudish, who played the Tickle principal in the first season of Mindhunter, and he's also an epic like titan of the New York theater. And when we were on the set, we were talking about how like in some ways the multiple takes and the repetition feels more comfortable to me. The like Fincher's process feels more like
Right.
home to me than a usual
Yeah, like
scenario.
two and done. Like, wait, we're not
You
going to
know,
keep
I didn't
doing
even
this.
get a
What's
chance to like where
yeah,
yeah, whereas because I'm so used to theater, like doing it multiple times is makes me feel more relaxed. Like we're really getting to dive in and to dig in and oh my gosh, yeah, like that, especially getting to do those long interview scenes, where it was like 10-page scenes, and it really felt like a play. Getting to play those long scenes from beginning to end, 10
yeah.
pages, like what a treat.
So if you'll indulge me going back, since we've never done the solo pod before, going back, yeah, I loved listening to your Tony speech last year and talking about your parents and letting your freak flag
Uh,
fly as a kid. And I've actually spent a lot of time in where around where you grew up. My wife's parents lived in Nottingham, Pennsylvania, in Amish country, right around there.
no
So
way.
yeah, so give me a sense, like I don't know, kid Jonathan Groff, loving musical theater, loving theater, loving film, TV, presumably. What did your parents make of you? How quickly did they kind of like embolden you to kind of follow that path?
From the very beginning, my dad trains and raised. My dad was supposed to take over the dairy farm. He was the oldest son in a Mennonite family, and they had cows, and he was supposed to do that. But his passion was horses, so he sort of like took a left turn and started his own business as a horse trainer. My mom's passion was coaching and field hockey, so she studied to be a teacher, but really the point was she ended up being a phys ed teacher, but the point for her was coaching girls field hockey. And so they both really understood just like the and I said something like this in the speech, but like they understood like passion, the
Right.
importance of following passion. So even though they didn't have any experience whatsoever in theater or singing or any of that, I expressed from a very young age my interest in that, and they were beautifully like driving me to play practice and all of it and community theater stuff. They were totally supportive of that from the beginning. And then when I was getting ready to go to college, they were like, please do not go to college and have us help you pay thousands of dollars for a theater degree. They were like, why don't you go to New York first and see if you can make it? And
Right.
as an actor, because you don't have to have a college degree to be an actor. So why don't you go to New York and see how that goes? And if it doesn't work out, then you can go back to college for something else. So they were really supportive of me in pursuing my moving to New York, which I did when I was 19 years old.
So yeah, so you moved to New York a little over 20 years ago. No
Yeah,
looking back ever since.
yeah.
And it wasn't quite the Broadway debut,
Try
but
again. What's happening?
no, we're okay, we're okay, we're okay. Calm down, everybody, calm down. Do we think the crying is connected to the spitting? Is it all about like the water? Like is it just water wants to escape your body?
Yes, I'm just really full of juice, waiting to come out.
God. we don't have time to dive deep into everything, but I do want to mention obviously Spring Awakening, which is obviously such a seminal, important part of your life and career, and for a number of reasons. I know. Look, it's the show, it's the friendships, it's where you were at your life, it's coming out around that time. I mean, when you look back at that, is it all kind of like baked in together? Like this was maybe the formative pivot point in my life and career?
It totally was for all the reasons that you mentioned. It was like it like artistically, I because that show is such a work of art, and being able to do that show 8 times a week, and this is like there's something that can change you on a cellular level as because they I forget who said this or but we are what we repeatedly do. And getting the chance to perform something really profound like changed my taste from the inside out and made me a better actor from the inside out. And so artistically, when I left that experience, I had a completely different like nose for what I was looking for next than when I started that job. It just completely changed my appetite for what I was looking to do and how I was wanting to grow and how I was wanting to keep evolving. It was really incredible in that way. And then I was playing this character that didn't let the world define him and who was a rebel and who stood up for what he believed in and was really outspoken and really front-footed. And I was really the opposite of that in my life. I was a people pleaser and I was in the closet and I was kind of shy um in declaring who I was and what I wanted if in any way it would create dissonance externally. Um and when I left that show, it was like I had worked on this muscle of speaking my mind. And a month after I left that show, I came out of the closet. And I really feel like it was in large part because that that side of myself that I wasn't in touch with got awakened, so to speak,
Yeah.
in getting to play Melchior. And when I got spit out the other end of the show, I had this side of myself that I then could put into my real life.
It also gives birth to a lifelong friendship. You know, the internet, the world loves you and Lea Michele. Like there are few friendships the world loves more.
Oh, that's so sweet. I mean, yeah, like we're trying to figure out how we're in December because we met at the audition in 2005. We're trying to figure out how we're going to celebrate 20 years of knowing each other starting this December. She came to opening night of Just in Time, and then she came back a week and a half later on a Sunday matinee with her 4-year-old son, Ever, and they sat on an aisle so I could like into kind of it was on the opposite aisle from where you were sitting, the
The
aisle that
hot
I
seat.
where
Careful, careful, Lea. I mean, she's
I don't
ready.
dance
She's
in that aisle, but I interact with people in that aisle. And so I got to like high five Ever during Dream Lover, and he was on the edge of his seat. He was so cute the whole time. And that talk about crying. We like finished the show and I was in the elevator about to come out for like the bow music that we perform at the end. And I just started hysterically crying because I just was like, oh my God, what a special thing. He's 4. He's gonna remember this now for the rest of his life, this moment and this history that I have with his mom. And now there's this little boy in the world, and now we're creating memories, and it's just so cool. It's so cool to share that with people that you come up with by the time you're 40.
yeah.
You've shared a lot of life, 20 years.
You guys must though talk about professionally collaborating. There must be a dream project or two to do on stage or elsewhere. What do you guys want to do?
I have an idea. Well, I've been sending her plays for a while, and we constantly are talking about it, trying to find what the right thing is to come back together. And I have an idea for like I would say late summer, early fall 2026. Because I also want to mark because 2006 is when we were performing Spring Awakening, and I want to mark with her 20 years of working together too. So I have an idea that I just talked about with her like in the last month, and she was like, "Oh yeah, let's try to do that." So that
So,
might
okay, I know you're not going to say what it is, but give me a hint. Is this a two-person thing? It's musical? It's something we know? What is it?
it's like I don't want to. At this point, it's just a dream of something. I
I don't know. You
don't want
two
to give away
attached
the
is
book.
probably more than a dream. I think your name's attached to a theatrical production is probably going to get it greenlit.
It really is a dream. I've started to reach out to the people that I need to reach out to, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't want to fuck it up.
Okay.
I
Okay.
got it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm fascinated by kind of like, so there's the obviously the amazing theater work, there's TV Mindhunter, then there's the film work, and you've been very deliberate, I feel like, whether purposely or not, and kind of filmmakers you've worked with, whether it's working on The Matrix or with Shyamalan, you've had these nice like choice kind of plum, smaller kind of opportunities in film, while the theater career is insane. I don't know. Do you feel like you have to fight more for opportunity in film? Like, is there a kind of like a dissonance between your stature in theater and what you want to do in film? And where does that sit with you right now?
When I came out of the closet publicly in 2009, I really thought I was saying goodbye to anything in film and television. I really was like, I guess that'll be the end of that. And I'm okay with that because I'd rather be who I am than hide who I am to be in movies.
Right.
So everything that's come since then, starting really with like looking on HBO
Sure.
and then the things that you mentioned and really like David Fincher changed my whole career by casting me as Holden in Mindhunter. That was a huge, never could have ever imagined that something like an opportunity like that where I'm playing a straight FBI agent interviewing serial killers that would ever happen. And so, yeah, like everything that has come in film has felt like a fun bonus. I haven't like I have I've been able to kind of now because of the wave of progress that has happened in since 2009 in regards to um, LGBTQ acceptance and evolution and gay marriage and all of that and the cultural shift. Like I've been able to do film and television in a way that I never anticipated. And you know, I really feel like the film, especially, is a director's medium more than an actor's medium. In that, like, when I show up at the theater, I perform the show from start to finish,
Yeah.
and there's a real kind of like primal basic kind of like actor audience relationship that happens and we're in charge of our edit, we're in charge of the
Yeah.
pace.
Once those
It's
lights go up, once the curtain's up, you're in charge of that show. No, there's no one
exact
stepping in.
and I love that. And
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed the TV and film work I've done because I really love working with directors that are like geniuses that are like, since it is a director's medium, getting to work with like Fincher or Andrew Haig or Knight or Lana, like the or Ang Lee was the
Oh,
directed
sure.
that we
Yeah.
ever did, like the like being able to feel safe to play and stretch and try things because I know at the end of the day, these directors are the smartest people in the room, and they're gonna put together something that is in line with their incredibly specific vision. That's been really joyful. And it's funny, like I looked out my window in the my apartment the other day, and there was a hair and makeup trailer there, and I was like, ooh, because the thing I think of is like
The
early
waiting, the whole,
early mornings, yeah, the waiting,
yeah.
the all of the mishigas that has to happen before the acting on a film set is like the time between action
Yeah.
and cut
Yeah.
is so brief, the actual acting. The most of the hours are not acting.
Yeah.
So just as an actor, I feel more used in the theater. But I'm developing some projects with this amazing director, Eitan Fox, and we had a call this morning, and I wrote him a tag. I sent him a voice note actually talking about that makeup trailer thing, and I was like, Eitan, I am ready to fall in love again with making movies, and I'm ready
Right.
to fall in love again with being on a set and release this notion that it has to be that it's an uncomfortable experience as an actor. But even like the thing of people coming up and like just as wet
in
as I
between
am.
each take. Just,
Yes,
just,
you can imagine. I can like in theater, I can just secrete, right?
you more than
But
anyone. Give
on
that man
TV,
freedom to secrete as much as he wants.
that's maybe it's just a very basic way. That's why I'm drawn to theater more than film and television. Because like you're shiny, you have to. And I was like, no, this is what happens when I
Yeah,
act. This
part
is
of the
what,
deal.
and then on stage you can get away with that, and
Yeah.
on film they're powdering it away.
It is the borderline, or more than borderline, shocking that I don't think you've ever done a non-animated musical film. Like you've obviously Frozen doesn't get any bigger than that, but like they're not that few and far between these movie musicals now. They happen, a few big ones a year.
Yeah.
You've gone up for these. You've come close. Like I don't know, what's your relationship to the modern movie musical? Are there ones you've wanted? Are there ones you still want to do that are in development? Are there dreams of that?
It's funny, like I feel like also with movie musicals, they're also so hard to get right.
Yeah.
And I was like attached to one with Kristen Bell. We were gonna do one a few years back. And yeah, like I would love to do a movie musical. I'm really fascinated by the medium of movie musical and how they work. Although I guess Wicked was a huge hit. That's
Yeah.
right. That was like a massive, and
I
I
mean,
loved it. So that's
yeah.
a great example of one that's working now or has worked now. I really, and I'm way too old for it now, but I really think that the movie musical that could just really blow up the genre again would be the film version of Spring Awakening. In the same way that I feel like that the stage production of Cabaret, directed by Hal Prince, was a huge success. But then Bob Fosse directing that movie and the way that music is used, that Cabaret is one of my favorite movies of all time. And the way that music, the way that that was a musical, but also a movie, like the characters were singing, but it was all kind of performance based.
Yeah.
And they sort of did that in a way in Chicago that most of the songs were in Roxy's head. But I feel like Spring Awakening is really just like the perfect movie musical because all of the songs are in the character's head. They kind of serve as like music videos.
Can you give me off the top of your head Jonathan Groff's top five movie musicals of all time? What's your Mount Rushmore? What are your favorites? What are your
My
go-tos?
faves.
Yeah.
Okay, Cabaret is not only like one of my favorite musicals, but one of my favorite movies, period, of all time, regardless. I love Cabaret. I love all that jazz. I love Grease. I love The Sound of Music. And I love Mary Poppins because that can that count as a movie musical? Yeah.
Plenty of music in there. Yeah. Okay. There it is, the definitive list. We're running low on time, but I remember on our conversation from Merrily, your co-stars ribbed you lovingly about kind of the work-life balance, the song about the takeout boxes in your
Takeout
apartment.
bags,
Yes.
got them, da-da-da-da, the takeout bags. There's the sugarfish bag. As I look to my right,
Sugarfish. That's gonna smell soon, man. That's sushi. That's you gotta
well,
be
I ate all of it. It's just the
okay, good.
bag. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
good. So,
part
so
careful.
are you
Okay.
figuring it out? You want a healthy life. The work is sustaining and it's beautiful, but you also, and I haven't, well, none of us have figured it out really, but like it's a constant work in progress, I guess. But where are you at in terms of kind of, I don't know, finding a life and a work balance?
Good question. Okay, so for this job, I did like just as far as eating is concerned, quick sidebar. I did like prepared meals. So I've had 3 meals a day delivered to me 5 days a week from the first week of February till now. And I'm gonna keep with this service until we finish with the Tony Awards. And then I'm gonna try and be like, okay, Groff, that's done.
Yeah.
Now you have your days free. You can try and make things on your own that are healthy. So I'm gonna try June and July is gonna be
Okay.
my leaning into that. Work-life
I
balance.
will say that that does sound like a dream to me because like 40% of my day is spent deciding what I want to eat. So like the amount of mental space you have in your head, I mean, you can cure cancer.
It's like dangerously convenient. And it's so good. I know. I'm like really a basic eater. I don't have to, I could eat the same thing every day for years and
Got it.
be
Oh, so this is perfect for you. Yeah.
so perfect for me. But I want to branch out, Josh. I
Okay.
want to branch
Okay.
out. So life work balance. Life is completely on hold right now. For better or for worse,
Okay.
I'm really giving that Bobby Darin existence of like the play is the thing, obsessed with my job. I even like, yeah, I'm really, this is a really, it's like, I would say it's 95.5%. I mean, yesterday was the first day off I had in a while. And I spent 10 hours responding to text messages. Literally 10 hours. I like went and took myself to lunch and had some wine. I was like day drinking, responding to text. I did like a foot massage, responding to text. This is how like I'm hoping with the food that once I hit June and July, it's just been really intense with the show. And
Yeah.
I've never done so much in a show before. So this has just been a very extreme, I would say like 5 months, but I might be seeing the silver lining of a personal life during the day
On the horizon, there it is. I see it coming. Yeah.
once I hit mid-June. I am going to see Beyonce on the 25th of May in the evening.
Priorities. Yeah.
My religion is intact.
Okay, we end with the happy, sad, confused, profoundly random questions. Here we go. Are you a dogs or cats person?
Cats,
Okay. Do you collect anything? What do you collect?
books,
Okay. Do you have a favorite video game of all time? Was there anything you played as a kid?
Super Mario Brothers, one, I would say, the first one.
Classic. The Dakota Johnson Memorial question, she asked me this. Would you rather have a mouthful of bees or one bee in your butt?
Definitely one bee in my butt. Let's go.
Are you offering? Because I'm interested.
Are you? It's like you are, Josh.
Oh God. What's the wallpaper on your phone?
Pennsylvania, baby.
It's what?
Pennsylvania. It's my
Oh, lovely.
farm in Pennsylvania.
It's not quite a Wawa, but it's home. It's
Totally wow,
um
Jason.
yeah. Who's the last actor you were mistaken for?
Andrew Reynolds. All these gays, all these white gays. Although someone, when I was biking by on the street, which was so exciting to me on Sunday after the matinee, I was biking on the Upper East Side and someone just screamed out, Bobby Darin, I love your work. And I was like, oh, I love that. I love that I was just called Bobby
Yeah,
Darin.
he lives again through you. That's
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
You did answer this. I'm curious if you'll answer it the same way as you did last time. The worst note a director has ever given you?
Do it less gay.
It's hard to top that one. That's pretty bad. Um, in the spirit of happy, sad, confused, an actor who always makes you happy.
Oh, an actor who always makes me
You
happy.
see them on screen, you're immediately like, I'm in
Oh my
good
God,
hands.
that's so good. Goldie Hawn.
Great. Great. Movie that makes you sad.
In a good way, Weekend.
Okay. That's the first for that one. Nice. And a food that makes you confused.
Marmite.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what is that again? They spread it on the thing and yeah. Oh, because when you were probably doing Matrix, that was probably all around, right? That's an Australian thing or a
It's like, no, it was in London,
Oh, okay.
I think. It was, yeah, I was doing a play there. It was disgusting.
Okay, that won't be part of the diet when he comes out of his 3 meals a day regimen. Um, I'm so happy we made this happen today. Congratulations on all the success.
Thank you so
Um,
much. Thank you for coming to the show and for being such a game dancer.
oh my God. I don't
I'm
know. Let's go back to the videotape. I'm not sure how game I was, but thank you for remembering it that
it
way.
was so game. It was great.
Just in Time is the musical, folks. Get your tickets now. It is such a treat to see this guy doing what few can compare to. He's the best at what he does. And good luck at the Tonys, man. I'll be on the carpet, so look for me there. We'll catch
Oh
up.
my God, I will. How exciting. Okay, I'll see you there.
Excellent.
And so ends another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to this show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a big podcast person. I'm Daisy Ridley, and I definitely wasn't pressured to do this by Josh.